The thing that's interesting about DeSantis, and I agreed with Sarah's analysis, but here's the caveat I put. All of DeSantis's ground game and largely most of his campaign activities was outsourced to that super PAC Never Back Down. Those guys have been in free fall for the last month. Jeff Rowe resigning, the two former heads of the super PAC, the chairman, Adam Laxalt, he resigned. I mean, it's been one fight after another. Meltdown City, the campaign signaled that there was another PAC, Fight Right, that they wanted people to start giving to. And so if that PAC doesn't produce, and there's a lot of questions what they've done with this $80 million they've had, then DeSantis is in big trouble, because that was where he had outsourced his ground game to. I think that Iowa's going to be a big X factor. I still think that Trump's lead is big enough, and Trump, their campaign, after being there on the ground in 2015 and watching it now, is vastly more organized and understands the caucus system. Yeah. I think that he pulls out a win between 10 and 15 points, Trump, and that's enough. But here's where I agree with Larry on this. The media, I think, has largely set Trump up. They're going to say, well, his polling was by 30 points. If he only wins by 10, well, that's a loss. Right. I do think that Iowa being Iowa, anything over 10 is a win. I think Trump does it. But let's move, since Larry got us there, to New Hampshire on the 23rd. I want to start on the Republican side. Nikki Haley is out now going after DeSantis on China with a brand new ad today. Sarah, this is do or die for Nikki Haley, I think, in New Hampshire, and definitely Chris Christie.
Yeah, I totally agree, but I don't think that they're going to measure up at the end of the day. I think Trump's going to run away with it in New Hampshire, and I think Nikki Haley, I think that will be the end of both Nikki Haley and Chris Christie, and to that, I say good riddance.
Larry?
Yeah, I do think Trump win. People forget how soundly Trump beat everybody in 2016. Everyone said it was Marco Rubio was going to emerge, or Jeb had a chance, or it was not even close. I think that New Hampshire is still Trump country. And by the way, I think this Civil War gaffe from last week for Nikki Haley, it's actually going to leave a mark, not because people care about the Civil War or the battle flag or any of that. It's because it exposed her. It exposed her as the manufactured media puppet that she really appears to be. It was just not a good scene, and her damage control that she tried to do was not good. I think the only shot here is if DeSantis can do well in Iowa, he could have momentum going into New Hampshire. And again, and by the way, Iowa always has somebody emerge on the faith and family values end, whether it was Cruz or Huckabee or Santorum. There's always someone who fills that lane. This year, it would have been Pence or Tim Scott. If DeSantis spends the next 2 weeks talking about nothing but the gender issue, and what he did in Florida actually effectively on the gender issue, that can be the difference maker for him.